Hi, it's Nell, and thank you for joining me on my patio today. I'm going to be talking about easy houseplants. These are ones that are easy to maintain, they're easy to find, and not fussy at all. I had originally planned on doing a list of 10, but I think it's going to end up being 15. So let's get right into it right now. So these are plants that don't need a lot of fertilizing, maybe once a year. If that, they are relatively pest free, and they're also in it for the long haul. There are a lot of cool plants out there, but they just don't last in interiors over time. So these are the ones that are tried and true, that if you maintain them right, you can have them for years. Now, all these plants are in our book, Keep Your House Plants Alive. I will leave the link to it down below in the description box, except for the ZZ plant. I keep on meaning to add the ZZ plant into the book, which I'm going to do soon. And also there is a blog post that goes along with this video. It'll have pictures of all the plants in it and links to the post with the care of the plants, because I'm not going to talk about the care in this video, which is going to be a line or two or three about each plant. But I have done videos and posts on almost all these plants. So they will be in the blog post, and the link to that will be down below also. Now, these plant choices are all based on my experience. I started my horticultural career as a interior plant technician, which means I maintained plants in offices, lobbies, hotels, airports, really tough environments. And then I later moved on to work in the sales division in New York City and then also in San Francisco before going into work with exterior plants. So I have a lot of experience with working with plants indoors, and also I've been growing them for a very long time. So I'm going to list the plants as either hanging, tabletop, and or floor, and I'm going to talk about the light conditions. And I'm not going to talk about the light conditions right now. I'm going to talk about that at the end. I'm going to talk about it in a very general sense. So if you're interested in low light, medium light, high light, and stick around till the end of the video. So we're going to start in with the Pothos, which is also called devil's ivy. This can be a hanging plant, or it can be a tabletop plant. And what a tabletop plant is, it's just generally on any sort of a surface. It can be on a counter, it can be on a coffee table, it can be on a nightstand, it can be on a buffet, a bookshelf, etc. This is a low to medium light plant. For long trails, you really can't beat it. It'll just trail on and on and on. Some of the varieties have a lot of variegation in them. This happens to be the Marble Queen. If it's in lower light, it might revert to a solid green form. But this is a good old standby for a hanging plant. Spider plants. This is a hanging plant or a tabletop plant. It's a medium light plant. And these are really fun because of the babies. You can see them hanging off there. And also makes them very easy to propagate also. Mine grows outdoors here in Tucson, but they do great indoors, and they come in different variegated forms, and they also come in a solid form. The Hoya or the wax plant. This is a hanging plant or a tabletop plant. It is succulent-like, but they're not really succulents. And I almost wasn't going to include these because they can be subject to mealybug indoors, but mine do just fine, so I did. And I just think they're really easy. And it was just a reason to show off my new Hoya. This is Hoya obovata I got on my recent trip through Southern California. And it grows faster than other Hoyas, and it also blooms earlier than the other Hoyas. And yes, Hoyas do bloom. It's not something you can really count on, but when they do, they're gorgeous. And they are medium to high light plants. The higher the light, the more chance of flowers you will get. And they come in a wide variety of foliage, shapes, forms, colors, and patterns. Snake plants or mother-in-law tongues. These are tabletop or floor plants. I have a trifasciata, which is about 3.5 feet tall, and it sits on the floor. Stay tuned, I have a video coming on that soon. These are interesting because they can take low, medium, and high light. They are very versatile that way. They're great for you who travel or who live in a very dry climate like I do here in the Arizona desert, because they can take it just fine. And they come in a wide variety of foliage, patterns, sizes, and colors. The aloe vera or burn plant, or sometimes it's just referred to as just aloe. And this is a tabletop plant. I call it a plant with purpose. It's great to have in the kitchen or the bathroom in case you burn yourself or you cut yourself or your skin is irritated. You can just apply it and it really does the trick. It is a medium to highlights plant, and it really gives you sort of a deserty, succulent-y sort of a feel because it is a succulent. The jade plant, and this is a tabletop plant. They grow really quite large outdoors, but indoors you normally only find them as tabletop plants because they are very heavy. Their leaves and their stems store a lot of water, so if you get at a 3-foot plant, it's really quite heavy. And these do best in high light. They will tolerate medium light, but high is best. And they have really glossy, plump leaves. It's really beautiful. And this is a plant that is really well suited to a bonsai if you're into that sort of thing. And this is a succulent also. Bromeliads, and these are tabletop plants. This one is a Neregelia, but there are many different genuses of bromeliads. I did a series on them. I will leave the link to all of them in the blog post. These do best in medium to even highlight to bring out the beautiful patterning in their foliage, and they really give you a pop of color and add a little tropical pizzazz to your house. The ZZ plant. This is a tabletop or a floor plant. Mine just recently got divided. This is the smaller portion of it here, so it's a little flat on one side. It grows best in medium light. It's billed as a low light plant, but it doesn't grow that much in low light, but that's true of most house plants. It does much better in bright medium light. And it has shiny, very attractive foliage. The newer foliage is more of a springier green, just gorgeous, and it hardly shows a brown tip at all, even here in the scorching hot Arizona desert. The Ponytail Palm. This is a tabletop or floor plant. It's usually seen more as a tabletop plant indoors because it grows very, very slow. So the taller ones are very expensive. This is a highlight plant. It needs light to grow and do really, really well. And they're crazy, wacky plants with cascading leaves, which will jazz up any environment. Aglaonemas or ags. These are tabletop or floor plants. And the floor plants, the tallest they are is about 3 feet, but they will also be 3 feet wide, so they are a bushier plant. And they are low to medium light plants. We spec these a lot in offices, especially on file cabinets. They were very, very popular, but they come in a wide variety of patterning on their leaves, especially now. In the past, like 10 years, there's been a lot of new varieties out on the market. Many of them have pink. And, well, one of the old standard ones is a Chinese evergreen. It's a very dark green, and that one can take lower light. So the more variegation in the plant, the more light it is going to need. But there are some beauties out there. The cast iron plant. These are tabletop or floor plants. As floor plants, the maximum they get is about 3 to 4 feet tall. They are for low to medium light. They do great and low light. And the common name says it all, cast iron plant. They have these beautiful leaves that shoot up in a dark green, but they also come in a few variegated forms also. And they are great for darker corners. The Kentia palm. It is a floor plant. And it's a beautiful, graceful, elegant palm. It's not upright. It has more of a fanning out shape to it. It's a low to medium light palm. It does great in interiors. We spec it a lot. And it grows very slowly. So it puts out one frond, which is a leaf, a year. So this one is not an inexpensive plant, but it is a beautiful palm to have in your home. And the Dracaena Janet Craig, or the Dracaena Lisa. The Lisa is the newer variety on the market these days. It has thinner foliage, but these are floor plants. And they have beautiful dark green, glossy foliage. And they take low to medium light. They are normally sold by the cane. A cane is a stem with the foliage coming off the top. So it gives a staggered look all the way up and down. And we used these a lot in commercial accounts because people loved that dark glossy green foliage. The corn plant. This is also a Dracaena, which is related to the Janet Craig and the Lisa. It is most commonly sold as a floor plant, and the leaves look just like those of a corn plant, and it has a central stripe, which is a chartreusey color. It takes low to medium light. If it's in light that's too low, you will lose the stripe and it'll just go to a solid green. So if you want to keep that variegation, you need to put it in medium light. And it just depends on if you like a wider variegated leaf or if you like that solid dark glossy green of the Janet Craig. But this one is also generally sold in a staggered form too. Sometimes you'll find it with a fatter solid cane, but it's usually sold in the form that's 3 to 5 canes. The rubber tree or the rubber plant. This is the easiest of the ficuses to maintain, and it is a floor plant. I have the rubber plant that is the variety Burgundy. It's gorgeous with dark foliage and burgundy new growth, but it burned while I was in San Diego. I was gone for about 3 weeks, and it was put outside and it fried. So I'm going to be doing a post and a video on its rehabilitation, so stay tuned for that. But it takes medium to highlight, gets quite large, and what I love about it, it has big, bold foliage, and it really gives you a tropical look. Now, medium light would be an east or a west exposure with 2 to 4 hours of sun coming in the windows or the doors per day. And highlight is a west or a south exposure, and that's where you have at least 5 hours of sun coming in a day. Now, none of these plants will take hot, direct light in a window. That is way, way too hot. They can't take that prolonged sun and that prolonged heat without burning. So that's touching on it really briefly. Light is measured in foot candles. If you're really confused, you can get a device to measure the foot candles and do that. Coming up, bang, 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 are my favorite houseplants for low light, my favorite houseplants that are safe for pets, and a few thoughts on that subject, and my favorite plants to clean the air around you. Oh, and also let me know what your favorite easy houseplants are. Are they the same as mine? Are there some different? We're here to share after all. These series ones are longer, so if you have stuck around to the end, I thank you. And I have my sunglasses on because it's so hot and the sun has just made my eyes really irritated, so I have my eyes closed a lot. It's the movie star effect. Anyway, I hope you have found this video to be helpful and informative. And all the information along with pictures will be in the blog post with more details for you. I thank you for all your likes and your subscribes and your comments. I really appreciate them. Now let's get out in the garden or into our home gardens and make our worlds a more beautiful place. I have a lot more videos coming your way, so be sure to come back. As always, I thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!